Welcome back to Tipton Bros. Today, we'll be discussing the Heinkel HE-280, Nazi Germany's first turbojet-powered fighter aircraft. Design, development, service history, and specifications will be provided. Before we begin, I must disclose that I am no expert and never claimed to be. Now, let's get into it. September 1940. Germany has snuffed out the last immediate defenders of Western Europe and now sits eagerly on the doorstep of Great Britain. Aircraft are being produced at an alarming rate, with companies such as Focke-Wulf, Messerschmitt, and Dornier bolstering the air power of the Third Reich. Although supplying Nazi Germany with an unyielding stream of aircraft, Heinkel had placed its sights on a much more ambitious undertaking: the world's first turbojet-powered fighter. Spearheaded by Robert Lucer, an engineer and aircraft designer, the project was well on its way to success. Ernst Heinkel, head of Heinkel Flugzeugwerke, was captivated by high-speed flight, and in turn gave Lucer unlimited access to his facilities in hope of creating the world's fastest aircraft. This, however, was not the engineer's first attempt, as the previous year in 1939, Lucer had debuted the Heinkel HE-178 to the Reich Aviation Ministry. Despite being the first aircraft to fly under turbojet power, German officials showed little interest. Undiscouraged, Lucer would revamp the platform in early 1940, dubbing it the HE-180. A sleek fuselage was accompanied by mid-mounted wings, fixed with two HES 8 Series turbojet engines, produced in-house by Heinkel. These early power plants generated roughly 1,600 pounds of thrust each. Other notable features of the HE-180 are its twin vertical stabilizers, retractable tricycle landing gear for ground running, and a compressed, air-powered ejection seat, the first aircraft to utilize such technology. The unfinished prototype was officially designated the HE-280V1, but was far from airworthy. The Heinkel HES 8 Series turbojet engine was understandably finicky, being a first-generation system laden with issues. This prolonged development and would delay its initial flight. On March 30th, 1941, the HE-280V1 would take to the skies, its engine cowlings removed to easily address concerns. Tail flutter and stiff controls were the primary gripe of the pilot, but a general lack of power was also noted. Approximately a week later, April 5th, the HE-280V1 would be enthusiastically presented to German authorities. Again, officials would dismiss the turbojet fighter. Content with the direction of the war and its progress, Germany saw no place for such a frivolous project, once more not realizing its true value. Interestingly, the HE-280V1 was the first documented use of a powered ejection seat. Test pilot Helmut Schenk would bail from the prototype aircraft when controls seized due to icing. He would survive, but the fighter was lost. Robert Lucer would persist, developing the HE-280V2 and subsequent V3 variant. The HE-280V3 made a significant jump, replacing the problematic HES 8 turbojet engine with the Yokosumo 109-4, the world's first production axial compressor turbojet engine. With the modified V3 pattern, Heinkel and Lucer would once again summon officials of the Reich Aviation Ministry, but this time with a caveat. The HE-280V3 was to be pitted against Germany's premier fighter, the Focke-Wulf FW-190, in a mock dogfight. This plot worked marvelously and demonstrated the superior speed of a turbojet-powered fighter when compared to a piston aircraft. A contract was swiftly dealt to Heinkel, outlining the requirement for 20 pre-production examples. Further testing uncovered a new set of obstacles. The tricycle landing gears proved fragile. Ammo stowage space was non-existent, and fuel consumption excessive. When all was said and done, the Heinkel HE-280 was produced in 9 prototype variants, culminating in the HE-280V9. The modifications consist of engine updates and a one-time addition of 3 MG-151-20 autocannons in the nose cone assembly. This armament layout would be included from the V5 pattern forward. Despite Heinkel's best efforts, the HE-280 would be bested by the ever-popular Messerschmitt Me-262. The project was officially cancelled March 27, 1943, with only 9 being constructed. I'm going to refrain from covering each HE-280 variant, as I'd like to keep the video under 3 hours. I can provide full specifications for the V6 and V3 pattern. The Heinkel HE280 V3 employed two HES 8 Series turbojet engines, generating an approximate 1,600 pounds of thrust each. Maximum speed topped out at 405 miles per hour, with a range of 230 miles. The HE280 V3 was 34 feet in length, 10 feet in height, with a wingspan of 40 feet. Service ceiling sat at 33,000 feet, with a loaded weight of 9,436 pounds. Manned by a crew of one, the V3 had no armament, but production would have incorporated three 20mm autocannons. Now for the HE280 V6. Powered by two Yonkers-Yumo 109-4A axial compressor turbojet engines, generating 1,900 pounds of thrust each. Maximum speed reached 467 miles per hour, with a range of 382 miles, or 332 nautical miles. The V6 was 34 feet in length, 10 feet 5 inches in height, with a wingspan of 40 feet. Service ceiling was capped at 37,000 feet, with a rate of climb pushing 4,200 feet per minute. Gross weight tipped the scales at 11,500 pounds. Flown by a crew of one, armament was three MG 151-20 20mm autocannons. The HE280 saw ample development time, but was simply bested by its competition. Had it seriously been considered by the Reich Aviation Ministry in 1939, we may be telling a different story. I hope you've enjoyed today's brief overview of the German Heinkel HE280 turbojet fighter. We are a small channel, so a like is greatly appreciated, and recommendations are always welcome. Again, I am no expert, and never claim to be. Until next time, on Tipton Bros.